are breaking in now with news of a police shooting, another police shooting, this time in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. In a photo shortly after 9 a.m. Baton Rouge time this morning, about a mile from the police station. Early reports are that at least 2 police may have been killed, 4 shot. I want to go straight to the mayor of Baton Rouge, Kip Holden, who's joining us now by phone. Mr. Mayor, what can you tell us about what's happened near that police station this morning?
Well, it was a situation whereby our officers responded to shots being fired. And when those officers responded, apparently the gunman started shooting at the officers themselves. We have a report now that there are 2 dead. There are others who are injured to some degree, serious, and to maybe some minor injuries. They have been taken to a local hospital, but everybody's still active and fluid scene right now. So we're trying to put all of the pieces together, put all of the investigative work together, and try to make sense out of what happened in Baton Rouge this morning.
So, Mr. Mayor, 2 police officers dead, according to your information. Do you know how many have been injured, and what can you tell us about how many suspects there are and whether or not they've been contained?
Well, I can't tell you exactly how many have been injured. There are several. That's the information that I'm getting, but they haven't made a body count on the injured. I can tell you this is that when you have police officers responding from 2 agencies, that becomes the major issue that they're focusing on right now. So those departments will pretty much send as many officers as they can. Everything else is not as high a priority. And so therefore, there are a lot of officers from both agencies, including the state police, who are on the scene now and also at the hospital to make sure they can get their information correct and then make a determination as to how we need to proceed.
So this is still an active situation? The suspects are still on the loose?
No, sir, I'm not saying they're on the loose. Active means that the crime scene is a very active area because they're trying to gather all of their evidence in order to proceed as to what will happen in this, or get to know who were the players in this, what was the motive for what they did, how many officers are there. They're going to have to get statements from those officers who are surviving and say, tell me what happened when you got there, tell me what you saw. It's going to be a thorough examination of all of the facts from all sides.
So you don't have any good information right now on the suspects and whether or not they've been neutralized or whether or not they're still on the loose, but you can say that at least 2 police officers have been killed. Very tough situation, Mr. Mayor. We are thinking of you right now. We'll let you go back to that work right now. I want to bring in Pierre Thomas, our senior justice correspondent, who's also on the phone. Pierre, this comes at a time when we know that police have been on guard ever since those shootings, one in Baton Rouge, of Alton Sterling back on July 5th, also a follow-on situation in Minneapolis.
Yes, George, and this is a year where officer-related shooting deaths are up 44%. And because of what happened in Baton Rouge just a few weeks ago, one of the things they will have to look at is, were these officers targeted specifically? It sounds like they were responding to some kind of incident, but it's clear that the suspects started shooting at them, and it sounds like they were probably, uniformed officers. So it's a very dangerous situation. We're trying to gather more information, but right now it's a dangerous time for law enforcement.
And John Cohn, former police officer, former member of the National Counterterrorism Center as well. John, we know this comes at a time when there have been some militant groups calling for purges or rages against the police in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, that's right, George. Just last week, the FBI warned law enforcement across the country for calls posted on social media by militant groups to purge or rage against police, particularly police in the area of Baton Rouge and New Orleans. Baton Rouge officials just uncovered a plot last week that we had hoped was thwarted. But, it's a dangerous time for police, in part because of these threats, in part because people are more willing to resist police when they have encounters, in part because there is a growing false narrative around this country that is being glommed onto by people that all police are racist, all police abuse other people of color, and that just simply isn't true.
Thank you, John. And we're, of course, reporting here from Cleveland, where police are prepared for possible violence at this convention as well. Again, to sum up, there is some kind of an active situation. Police have been shot in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. At least 2 police have been killed, according to the mayor. Several injured. We're going to stay on top of this. We'll have full reports all day on abcnews.com. A wrap up tonight on World News. For now, I'm George Stephanopoulos in Cleveland.
Good afternoon, everybody. Regardless of motive, the death of these 3 brave officers underscores the danger that police across the country confront every single day. And we as a nation have to be loud and clear that nothing justifies violence against law enforcement. Attacks on police are an attack on all of us and the rule of law that makes society possible. That's what's needed right now. And it is up to all of us to make sure we are part of the solution and not part of the problem. And that is why it is so important that everyone, regardless of race or political party or profession, regardless of what organizations you are a part of, this has happened far too often. And I've spent a lot of time with law enforcement this past week. I'm surrounded by the best of the best every single day. And I know whenever this happens, wherever this happens, you feel it. Your families feel it. But what I want you to know today is the respect and the gratitude of the American people for everything that you do for us. And 5 days ago, I traveled to Dallas for the memorial service of the officers who were slain there. I said that that killer would not be the last person who tries to make us turn on each other, nor will today's killer. It remains up to us to make sure that they fail. That decision is all of ours. The decision to make sure that our best selves are reflected across America, not our worst, that's up to us.
Knowing your rights is nothing to a bully. It's nothing to a demon. It's nothing to a devil. You got to stand on your rights, just like George Washington did, just like all the other white rebels that they say, you know what I mean? And we celebrate and salute. That's what Nat Turner did. That's what Malcolm did. You got to stand, man. You got to sacrifice. And men, this is all for you. I don't even want to see women at rallies and all that. It's embarrassing. I feel embarrassed by seeing that. Let me tell you and I want to leave you because I don't want to make this video extra long, but let me tell you our mindset in Africa. One of the elders was telling me our mindset before the Europeans even arrived, right? Before they was, still in the mountains and stuff. Our mindset was this. When we would battle with outside, entities that would come in, say the Asians or whatever, Middle Easterns would come in, this was the mindset. When the men would go out to fight the enemy, you wouldn't come. The woman would tell her man, if you come back here defeated, I'm killing you. You get what I'm saying? The man knew he couldn't go home. Either he killed his enemy or he died. That's it. Because the kid sees that. You see that? If the kid sees that shit, well, damn, my daddy came home and he got his ass whooped. And he just a bitch. What you think the kid gonna grow up? I'd rather have this motherfucker die. At least now the kid knows, to stand for something. You see, so this is a mental disease. This is what I'm talking about, the holistic aspect of the shit. Y'all taking on mental diseases. This shit is deeper than you can even imagine. Some shit that you didn't see, so you take it on. So you think it's wrong when you fight back, but you celebrate it when somebody else fights back. But hey, salute to the rebels, man. I'm out here. I'm in these streets. You look up, you get up, and don't ever give up.